Hi everyone, this is Mekki from Middle Class Millionaire. Let's be real, the cost of living in the UK has hit everyone. The groceries are up, energy bills are up, childcare costs are through the roof, and pay packets don't stretch as far as they used to. Even though inflation headline says it's falling, it doesn't feel that way when your weekly shops cost 20 quid more than last year. So today I'll break down what inflation really means for you, how it silently eats your wealth, and most importantly, 5 ways to protect your income and fight back. So, what is inflation? Let's start simple. Inflation just means that prices go up and the pound in your pocket buys less. Let's say if inflation is 5%, something that cost you 100 quid last year now costs 105. It doesn't sound like much, but over time it's brutal. Over 10 years, the same 100 quid would need to be 163 just to buy the same things. So if your income isn't growing faster than inflation, you're actually getting poorer even if your salary looks the same. And that's why we can't just save money, we have to protect it. Now, how does the inflation hits the working class hardest? Inflation doesn't hit everyone equally. The wealthy can invest in assets, properties, shares, businesses that rise with inflation. But the working class, like you and I, we spend most of our income on things that inflate the fastest, like food, fuel, rent, bills. And that's why it feels like we're running in place. You might be budgeting tighter than ever, yet saving less than before. But the reality is, we can't control inflation itself, but we can control how exposed we are to it. And it begins with first step, which is tracking your spending. You need to know your numbers, what prices are. Guessing doesn't work. Go through your last 2 to 3 months of bank statement. List your spending categories: food, fuel, subscriptions, etc. You'll probably find a few leaks that crept in quietly: a forgotten subscription, takeaways, Amazon habits. Then set a monthly spending plan that reflects today's reality, not last year's. Because inflation silently changes your budget without you noticing. And I always say this: you cannot fight what you can't see. So the second step is build a cost of living buffer. This one's like an emergency fund, but for rising cost. Set aside a small saving pot specifically for when essentials spike, maybe energy bills or rent increases, and aim for 1 month's worth of expenses as a buffer. It gives you breathing space without reaching for the credit card every time life gets pricier. For this, I would say use a cash ISA or would recommend a high interest, easy access saving account. And make sure that the rate at least matches inflation if possible. The third step is increase your inflation proof income. And what I mean by this is the best protection against inflation isn't cutting costs, it's earning more. But that doesn't mean you need to change jobs or start a business overnight. And there are practical ways to grow your income. First one would be ask for a pay rise. Another way would be upskill. Maybe free online courses can help you move up in your current role. Start a side income, something small that brings in maybe 100 quid a month. That's your inflation shield, income that grows when price rises. Because even a small pay bump beats inflation if you keep your spending the same. Step 4 would be invest in real assets. Own things that rise in value when the prices rise. Historically, assets like property, stocks, index funds have beaten inflation over time. For example, if inflation is 4% and your investment grows, say 6 to 7% a year, your real wealth increases. You don't need to be rich to start. You can invest as little as 25 quid a month in stocks and shares ISA. Tax-free growth, long-term protection, and that's how regular people quietly beat inflation. And in all honesty, saving alone won't do it anymore. Investing wisely and consistently will. And step 5, cut the inflation traps. Some costs rise faster than inflation because companies know we'll pay them. These are what I call inflation trap. Things like mobile contract you don't negotiate, insurance that auto renews, energy tariffs that quietly roll to standard rates, and subscription bundles you don't really use. Review these every 6 to 12 months. Loyalty will cost you money. Shopping around saves it. Quick recap and mindset. 5 ways to protect your income from inflation. 1. Track your spending. 2. Build a cost of living buffer. 3. Grow your income. 4. Invest in real assets. And 5. Avoid inflation traps. But beyond the money, remember this: inflation isn't permanent. The goal is to stay steady while everyone else panics. Control what you can, prepare for what you can't, and keep your long term vision clear. Inflation may shrink the pound, but it doesn't have to shrink your mindset. You can still build wealth, stay debt free, protect your family, one smart decision at a time. Thanks for watching. This is Mackie. Life is good, God is great. Bye.